Welcome to StoryTime Spotlight. My name is Lowsh, and I am here with Thomas Crown himself. Thomas Crown, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing all right. Just trying to survive this year, like we all are.
It has been quite a year, indeed. What's been okay? Tell me your highlight and your low light of this year.
Well, the highlight for sure is this photo behind me of us playing at USC Loves You back in February, and that was literally our last gig that any of us have played.
Yep.
So that was fun, and then just dealing with people around you that are getting sick, or I've got family dealing with cancer, and just it's just a really, and then of course there's no shows, so we're all just stuck at home, but
you're right.
Still trying to stay productive with the music. It's a good time to make music, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely a good time to practice and kind of hone your craft at home, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of music, before we started, you were just kind of mentioning, and we'll get into the song Bounce specifically, but you were mentioning that you're working on an album. Is that something that is going to happen this year, you think, or looking for next year, or how's that going?
Yeah, I definitely want to finish writing it this year, but I'm aiming for releasing it next year. That'll I think I'm gonna my deadline on writing is November, and then I want to really take the month of December to mix it really properly. Spend some time in my buddy's studio that he's got all the acoustic treatment and stuff. Really try to get it honed in so I can release it at the beginning of next year, and kind of it just be this big showcase of everything I've been working on this year, because it started out as an EP that I was going to make pretty big, a 5-track, 6-track EP. And then I just kept writing and come up with new stuff. And I was like, why don't I just make an album? And then I can really explore a lot of different styles and really just come up with the whole kind of concept and stuff and follow a little bit of a theme while still doing different genres. I got some breaks, or I want to do some drum and bass on there, a lot of ambient stuff too, to kind of intersperse between the techno. So it's just a good variety of music, and a real way to just showcase hey, this is what I do.
Yeah, that's awesome. Diversity, right? So would you say techno is kind of your main genre, or do you not say that you have a genre?
Yeah, techno is becoming my main genre. This whole thing started as literally a 5-track techno EP. I had all these bangers. I've been playing them in some live streams that I've done, and played them for some friends, and there's a couple songs those are hits for sure. But I've just also been in the same time make a lot of ambient stuff, and we just kind of explore different things with just no beat. There's a lot of synthesizers, and it felt like I was kind of coming up with this whole little story of putting these tracks together, and so I want to really take my time with it and just, I don't know, see where it goes.
Yeah, well, an album is a great way to do that. And, I remember back in the day, albums used to be an experience, right? Albums would be you would craft your album in a way where there was an intro song, and then there were it would kind of weave this narrative into the last song, right? I feel nowadays a lot of artists are just about singles, right? I feel the art of the album isn't really as profound as it used to be. I could be wrong, but that's just my perception of it.
No, I agree, and there have been a few artists, my biggest techno inspiration is this guy named Enrico Sangiuliano, and when he released his album, that was a game changer, and people from all sorts of different genres. I was talking to trance DJs that were asking, have you heard Enrico's album? And I'm like, dude, I bought the vinyl because I love it so much, and that is one you have to listen from beginning to end, and it really has that story, and it's actually each side of the record is a different theme. And
that's cool.
He has all these liner notes that it goes into. So I don't know if I'm going to get that in depth, but at least I want to have some kind of continuity throughout the whole thing for sure.
That's awesome. Well, speaking of music, your song Bounce, let's talk about it. Really infectious tune. I mean, the first time I heard it, the reason I asked what your genre is because I was like, wow, this is not trance at all, or big techno. It's almost dark, clubby kind of vibes, right? So tell us about that. Tell us about inspirations and...
Yeah, that one was just, a lot of times I find that the best stuff I write is when I just go with the flow of what I'm feeling. And I was exploring just, some kind of different style grooves, and I was kind of going for a tech house angle. But what's funny about that one is I started off with that bass line, and that bass is a Serum bass I stole from the guys at Demibo who make psytrance. So it's a psytrance, really gallopy, saw little pulse. which is essentially as old school as you can get, because that's like with the the TB-303 is just like this pulsy saw wave. You know, you can adjust the resonance and turn it to acid, or you can make just those really dope. And so I built the track off of that, and I started just feeling all these conga drums. And so I just looked up all these conga samples on Splice and figured out how to work them in. And that was, and then of course you got to add some girl moaning in there.
Yeah, it's very, very sexual.
Yeah, honestly, like, I mean, as kind of crass as it might sound, like, you know, this is a song I want people to, like, get down to business with.
Hey.
I'm imagining some girls just twerking on some shit, like, with this track. We'll just leave it to the imagination.
Well, one day I will hear that song on TikTok, and I will see a girl twerking to it, and I will be so happy. I will be so proud. We'll make it happen. And if anything, I'll film myself twerking on TikTok to it. Well, it's a great tune, and I'm very excited to have it out and to I think it's a great fit for the compilation album. I think there's a lot of variety on that, and it's a really good tune, man. I really enjoyed it. I wanted to kind of talk a little bit more about you and your experience in the music scene, specifically, with all the changes because of COVID to the music industry, right? There's a lot of things changing with people losing their jobs, everything to go in live stream, stuff like that. Is there something about the changes that are happening that sort of bothers you? Like, is there anything that you're seeing as like a red flag that's like, this is, maybe this isn't good for the scene, or this is not, conducive to artists, or do you see anything coming out of this that, and I'm going to ask you a flip question after this, what's coming out of this that's good? So I'm starting with the bad. So,
I think the bad for sure is it's gonna really affect the local scenes, because so many venues are not gonna survive this economic downturn. I'm already, like, the club that I played at a lot in Seattle is the Underground, and that's in the building of the Box House right on Washington Occidental, and it's like they're talking about, like, they're not gonna make it. So it's like there's a lot of, like, with the whole stimulus, that they're not really helping out the music industry at all. In the local, these local clubs that really expose a lot of new music, a lot of new artists and stuff. I mean, the Underground was the opportunity I had to start playing in clubs in Seattle. That's where I got my start. And, like, I also got to see so many different DJs that I wouldn't have gotten to sing from all over the world because of that club. And so if you lose places like that, like, all over the place, like, it's going to have a real impact on, like, what people get exposed to once the economy does open back up and we can have shows. There just aren't going to be venues,
right?
And and the venues that we do have, they're going to be really careful on what they book, and, like, everything's going to be expensive, I think, and it's going to be tough for a while as far as the local scene goes. Yeah,
I agree with you. Yeah, I've seen a lot of advertisements for, like, Save Our Scene, donate funds to these different clubs, and I'm just wondering if that's going to be enough, right? If that's the fundraisers through the live streams a lot of people are doing. Clubs are doing too. Right. Doing a lot of fundraisers, and it's like the only way that they're even barely holding on, Right, which is kind of a cool way to do it. So I guess the flip question then is, what do you see good coming out of this? Do you think live streams, for example, are going to live forever? Is that the new kind of medium? What good is coming out of COVID for the scene? Well, I think they're a lot more important now, for sure. So they'll probably stay important. I think once people can go back to shows, like, you're never going to lose that, and so I don't think anything's ever going to replace the live thing, but I think it's been really good for information to get out right now, because, like, so many producers are obviously looking for new revenue streams. So, like, everybody's teaching you how to make this style, or, offering different, like, tutoring and classes and stuff, which has, like, been really cool. I took part in the virtual music conference that, like, was originally just going to be some conference in Europe, kind of like an ADE thing, but they did it online, and we got access to pretty much all the seminars. And I mean, that was some really vital information, because they're like big label guys that were on there, some big artists talking about different topics on, brand identity and, like, making demos and just the whole nine. So being able to get that kind of information right now, it seems like a lot of the, like, industry secrets, whether you're into production or you're into the business side and the marketing, like, it's all kind of out in the open now, because people are just, like, looking for new ways to make money by, like, sharing this information. Yeah, totally. Not to mention, I mean, you're able to attend virtually at conferences all over the world now, right? Yeah, you don't have to fly over there. You could just tune in at, 3 in the morning, but you can still tune in and watch it, right? So
yeah.
that's awesome. Well, that's good. I'm glad that has been positive for you. I only have one last question for you because we're trying to keep this kind of quick since we have a lot of artists in this whole compilation here. What is your biggest pet peeve with playing shows as a DJ?
I guess I've played the opener role, like the first person on, and so I think if the opener can follow those kind of unwritten rules about like energy level and tempo and stuff, just understand what your crowd and like who you're playing for. It's not your time to like bang it out. So you got to set the mood. That was like the one thing I didn't have to deal with too much, but there's a few guys that I'm like, you shouldn't be playing this right now, man. It's like 9 o'clock. Like, what are you doing?
Right, you're gonna scare people away at that rate. Like if it's just like banger after banger, people are like, "Yo, I just got here." Like,
yeah, exactly. Especially in a bar setting, like you gotta kind of slow things down a little bit, get people going to the bar if you want the club to make money.
Right.
You got that role as a DJ, but people don't really think about that. So.
Well, yeah, it definitely is important. So I'm right there with you. I agree with you on that. Well, that's pretty much it for today then. So I guess one last thing. I mean, do you have anything that you want to plug here? You mentioned the album. Do you have any other releases that you want to promote or anything you want to share?
No, I mean, just this track coming out, Bounce. I mean, I really like it, so I hope a lot of people do it. It's a little bit different than some of the techno and deep stuff that I've done. We're definitely going in a more kind of clubby, groovy direction, which is, it's fun to really explore these different styles. So check out that, and then of course, just stay tuned for the album. I'll be like sharing stuff on my story of me in the process of writing this and mixing it, and then.
What are your social?
I want to release some singles before the album comes out, but I think I'm probably just gonna release the album and then probably do like an extended album later, like with all like the extended mixes for the DJs. So like the album itself is gonna be like more like shorter versions of each track, just kind of more of the meat and potatoes.
Smart.
And then later we'll do like kind of an extended kind of remix album or something.
Nice. And how can people find you on social? What's your social tag?
Yeah. Just Thomas Crown DJ, Instagram at Thomas Crown DJ, Facebook.com/Thomas Crown DJ.
Got to get that slash in there, right?
Yeah, all that, the continuity, man. It's just the same username on every platform. So at Thomas Crown DJ, that's it.
There you go. Be sure to like and subscribe, guys, to Thomas Crown.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Lowsh, for having me on, and we'll see you around.
Yeah, thanks, man. All right. Have a good night. Bye.
All right.